Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Make sure you guys hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Tonight I got a special show, a special guest, Golden Blue Dude. Golden Blue Dude, if you guys don't know, he has his own YouTube channel. As the name says, Golden Blue Dude. As a matter of fact, let me get these banners off real quick. All right, so as you can see on the screen, name is Golden Blue Dude. You guys can go check him out. He also has his own YouTube channel, does college football year round, so go, make sure you guys go check him out, like, share, and subscribe over there as well. So, all right, tonight we're going to talk a couple different subjects on college football. As you guys know, the NFL draft just went down. The transfer portal is hot. Uh, I'm coming in. I think you got to mute the YouTube, Golden Blue Dude.
Say what again?
I say you got to mute YouTube. Kind of getting the echo. If you have YouTube open, you got to mute it.
Oh, okay. I got you. We're good.
All
My
right.
bad.
All right. So you guys, as you guys come on in, hit the like button. Say something in the chat so we could do a quick roll call, see who all is here. We're still getting the echo.
I'm not even on.
Trying to figure out where it's coming from. Let me see. Maybe
We getting echo on me?
I think it's when I talk. It sounds like it's coming from your side when I talk.
No, I ain't got anything on my side.
Let me check. Let me check the settings real quick. Audio. All right. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out. So as you guys know, like I was saying earlier, basically transfer portals going on. NIL deal is going crazy. The NFL draft just went down. Couple stories and accusations and stuff come out about the Hurricanes and West Virginia, and transfer portal. We've been going into West Virginia a little bit. So I have my guy on here, Golden Blue Dude. If you're new to the channel, you probably haven't seen Golden Blue Dude in a while. But if you've been here for a minute, you'll definitely know who Golden Blue Dude is. So let's talk about the Adai situation. You could give a rundown because he went to West Virginia and everything like that. So you could give a quick rundown on that.
Yeah, he's basically West Virginia royalty. One of our best DBs we've ever had. And then, of course, he decided to go into coaching. He's been very successful in that endeavor. He coached for Arizona, the DBs. Then he came to West Virginia, coached our DBs. Then he went to Georgia, and then now Miami. And every time he's went from one place to another, except for Georgia, he didn't bring any Georgia players. I think their brand's a little too strong for him to get any pulls out of them. He's pulled not just players from the team that he's been from, but starters, guys that are starting, so high caliber athletes. Now, whenever I was talking about him possibly tampering, that was before I knew that there's not really any tampering rules. Whenever I actually looked into it, there's no rules in place to where, guys can't talk to guys at a certain time or a dead period or anything like that. I thought there were. So, I made a video not too long ago, I think it was a couple weeks ago, where I thought, a day was tampering because Hakeem Mesidor decided to go to Miami out of nowhere. Not one single West Virginia fan saw that coming. Not one. And even when Neil Brown did his press conference, he said he was sad and hurt because he put a lot of effort into recruiting that guy, and he didn't see it coming. And that's really the thing that kind of pushed me off the edge as far as looking into the tampering stuff.
Now, from what I'm hearing with the Mesidor situation, and I'm not quite sure how deep it goes, but from what I'm hearing is he said that he did not feel safe at West Virginia. And then also I'm hearing a story that basically a player got stabbed or something at 2:00 in the morning or something like that. So what's the deal with that?
Well, a stabbing occurred at a bar. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but it was like a fight in a bar. I don't think it was a player, though. I think it was a student. But as far as like actual violence in Morgantown, there's there's not really all that much at all. Now, the stabbing did occur. The person that was stabbed survived with minor injuries, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. Um, it really kind of blew my mind because he's the first player I've ever heard to play for West Virginia and say that Morgantown was unsafe. If this had been like a trend, and I had heard players in the past say, this town is not as safe as people think. A lot of people are wanting out of here. Then I would understand that. But as far as to my knowledge, he's the first player for West Virginia to ever say that. So I just thought it was a little weird that he said Morgantown was unsafe. I think the biggest thing was Mesidor wants to play defensive end, and Dante Steele was going to be our starter on defensive end. So I think that probably played more of a factor than the whole unsafe thing. I don't believe that part at all.
Okay, so well, I mean that's what's coming from him. So I don't know if he just needed something or some reason to get out of Morgantown or whatever it is, but nonetheless, he hit the transfer portal. Miami went and acquired him, so he will be a Hurricane this season. Also, another player hit the portal from you guys coming back home is Darrell Porter.
Yep.
What's your take on him? How was his time at West Virginia? And
Daryl Portal, when he was on, he was on. He had some great games, and then there's some games you're like, didn't understand what he was doing. He takes gambles. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. And whenever he does take those gambles, he don't have the makeup speed to kind of make up for it. So if Miami can kind of get him settled in, keep him from making stupid decisions, he's going to be a great player for Miami. I think Miami, and I talked to you before the show, I think Miami is a legit contender in the Coastal. I'm not a Miami homer. You know that. I don't just go around on everybody's different channel and say, I like your team. No, I don't do that. For Miami, I truly see them being a contender, especially with Pitt possibly losing Jordan Addison.
yeah, I mean with Miami and the Miami and West Virginia thing, I don't think it could be anywhere where you say I like Miami because there's a lot of history between the teams. I mean, our last bowl game win was against you guys in like
Yep.
2016, so there's a lot of bad blood there. I mean,
And y'all dominated us in the Big East too.
yeah, for a while it's always been Miami versus Virginia, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, and so forth. So
I don't know if you know this, so I'm going to give you the download real quick. So Mesidor, look, people need to realize this. There is pay for play going on, and it's legal. So I'm not saying he should get in trouble for this. What I'm about to say is 100% legal, okay? But some people don't know this. $800,000 is the figure we're looking at for Hakeem Mesidor. And people, before you gasp, Hakeem Mesidor wasn't eligible for NIL deals because he's Canadian. So it literally had to be like that. And I'm not looking down on the dude. I think he made the right decision, hindsight being 2020. I was mad in the moment. I thought tampering was going on, but then I actually looked into the situation and looked into tampering. There's actually no rules in place for tampering. So all is fair game. So I think he made the decision that he thought was best for himself. And, I wish nothing but the best for him.
all right. Well, so the NFL draft went down. Miami only had one player drafted. It's kind of shocking, kind of
crazy.
Had Miami fans on the edge of their seats for like the whole entire draft. If you watched it, you literally had to wait till the 7th round, 234th pick, where Jonathan Ford got picked to the Green Bay Packers. Now, it's tough to deal with as a fan, knowing so much talent and you had so much hopes for some of these kids that come and play, these young men, and then they didn't get an opportunity. But for the guys that were eligible for the draft, I will pop them up real quick so we could do a quick rundown and I could try to give guys some updates on that. So basically, as you guys can see on the screen right now, give me 1 second. those are the players that from the pro day that was literally going into the draft and could have possibly been drafted, but
Mm.
unfortunately for us, the only one that got drafted was the one at the end, which is Jonathan Ford. So you have Navon Donaldson ups and downs with injury, didn't get drafted. Jared Williams came transferred to the University of Miami 2 seasons ago, came over with De'Aaron King. He didn't get drafted. Um, Zach McLeod didn't get drafted.
That's shocking.
Mike Harley, Bubba Bolden, De'Aaron King, Charleston
Man.
Rambo, Amari Carter, Cameron Harris, and DeAndre Johnson. So none of these guys got drafted. Now, updates on some of them, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to remember all of them off the top of my head, but I do know that Mike Harley, Bubba Bolden, De'Aaron King, and Charleston Rambo, and Amari Carter all has signed with a team as an undrafted restricted free agent or whatever you want to call it. So basically now they're in fight mode. They got to make a team. If you don't make it, basically get cut, and then you can take other options. The US, I think it's USFL. They are not eligible to go into that. I think you had to be in the 2021 class, if I'm not mistaken. I heard some reports about that. So they're not eligible for that league until possibly another year or so. But terrible, man. It's absolutely terrible. I'm just glad that our 48 years streak didn't come to an end. And had
Yeah.
we not got Jonathan here, you know, signed.
I'm actually blown away that well, the big names that I thought would most definitely would go off the board was Harris, Rambo, King, Bolden, Harley, McLeod. Like I thought all of those guys would go.
Yeah, I was surprised that Bolden didn't go, but
Yeah,
during
Bolden and Rambo, I thought they were at least second or third rounders. I'm being serious.
yeah, Bolden, I'm surprised he didn't go, but Rambo more surprised that he didn't go because he had a tremendous season. Uh,
Yes.
but I mean, I can say for Rambo, what I think Rambo lacked is yak yards after catch.
Okay.
He could catch the ball, but honestly, I didn't see much when it came to yak when it came to yards after catch. But
I mean, even if that's true though, you could draft like if he's got good catching skills and good speed, maybe not so much on the yaks, that's fine. I mean, he could definitely be used in certain situations where it's not necessary to get 20 yards or whatever to break a tackle, and those chunk plays where the ball's in the air for 10, 15 yards. I think any team could use him seriously.
yeah, well, hopefully, they go out there and they prove themselves and they don't get cut because that'll be tough, man. We watch
Yeah.
these kids grow. We watch them from the moment they get drafted and
So how many years is that in a row now? 48.
uh, I gotta figure out how to turn these. Oh, there we go. Okay, my bad. I was trying to figure out how to get the sound out of it.
Oh, you good, man?
Yeah, but 48 years, man. 48
That's
years. That's a nice streak, and I'm glad that it didn't get ended because whew,
That
we
was
got a lot of
close.
we got
That
a
was
lot of
close.
trolls. We got a lot of
Yeah.
trolls, and they would be armed and ready to come at us.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. I think next year y'all gonna have a lot drafted,
Um, I think I think
especially compared to
I'm gonna
this
give
year.
Mario a couple of years to get his classes together because for a while we thought the talent that we had was good or whatever, but it's clear that from an NFL standpoint, from scout standpoint, they could definitely use some work.
Yeah, I think Mario, Super Mario though. I like to call him Super Mario. I think he's good at getting kids into the NFL. Mario Cristobal did a great job at Oregon. I think he'll do the same at Miami.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Let's switch gears. Let's switch over to West Virginia. The draft. What happened for you guys?
We got a few players for undrafted free agents, but not a single one went in the draft, man. And I'm not surprised. Whenever we hired Neil Brown back in 2019, the cupboard was freaking bare, man. I mean, horrible. And I warned West Virginia fans. I said it's going to take us years to get the talent that we want because it's dried up. And this year is proof of that. Nobody drafted at all. But we're going to have a big uptick. I think a huge uptick in drafted players after this year. We got a great offensive coordinator coming in, Graham Harrell, and we had a lot of good talent come in this year.
So what do you think it was that made none of these players went drafted or whatever?
For
What?
West Virginia,
Why is it the coaches? Is it
no, no,
development?
no. For the reason why West Virginia players weren't drafted is because we didn't have speed or length, and that's what Neil Brown's been trying to recruit at West Virginia. Because we're not going to get the number one class or top 10 or whatever, so we got to get speed and length to make up for that, and that's why our players weren't getting drafted this year. We didn't have. I mean, even Letty Brown. I mean, he was a great running back for West Virginia, but when it came to the combine, guess what? He was the slowest running back for the 40. So, we used him the best we could. He just didn't have the speed for the NFL. Now, he got signed as an, undrafted free agent, which is fine, but he just didn't have the speed or length. And that goes, I just used Letty as an example. That goes across the board. We haven't had the speed or the length ever since Neil Brown had to take over. But we got a lot of speed. We got a lot of speed this year. A lot.
Okay, so the what's the update with the whole ACC, Big 12, and all that conference thing going on? What's the latest update you have on that? Because I know for a while you guys have been talking about possibly joining the ACC along with Notre Dame and all that. What's the update?
Well, the latest update that I have for that is West Virginia and the ACC have been talking. And the one thing that I didn't know the last time I talked to you there were some, what do you call it, expectations laid down for West Virginia if they want to get a formal invite. They don't have a formal invite. Let me be clear about that. No formal invite as of right now. But there were some things that West Virginia had to achieve to get that formal invite. One of them was they had to lengthen their runway to accommodate all the ACC schools. Well, West Virginia is actively stretching that runway. I think the requirement was 1,000 feet, and they're actually stretching at 1,001 feet. I guess they needed an extra foot just to make sure. And then the other thing was the academic side, because West Virginia didn't meet academic standards, but somehow Louisville did. I'm not getting into that. But anyways, they're also working on that. West Virginia's biggest problem with the academics is we don't have affiliated schools to send our lower academics to. And West Virginia accepts those lower academics. They're trying to be as inclusive as possible. But if you don't have any affiliate schools to send those lower academics, that counts on your score. Fortunately for West Virginia, Gordon Gee, our president, knows Jim Phillips really, really well. And they took into account that we don't have any affiliate schools. Plus, we have raised our academics, so we will meet the ACC academics. That was the two biggest things that was laid down for West Virginia to get a formal invite to the ACC.
Now I've seen some shocking and terrible news today.
Uh-oh.
The SEC is at it again.
Oh, man. What happened?
Unfortunately for the rest of the conferences, basically they ran away with it. Georgia had maybe 15 players drafted, if I'm not mistaken.
They have 5 in the first round, man.
5 in the first round. So the whole talk with the SEC is the best conference. That's not going to go anywhere for a while. So buckle up, guys. Everybody that likes to troll teams in the SEC and talk about which conference is the best. They just went up another level.
Another notch on the belt, huh? So we're gonna have to dig deep to dig up some trash talk on them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't really got no flame to really, talk any trash to any
Yeah,
SEC teams at the moment, other than Texas A&M, because Texas A&M is on our schedule. We play them September
yep,
17th in College Station, so
yep.
that's gonna be a rough game.
I don't,
But
dude. I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to be that rough for y'all. I think the atmosphere in the first quarter, maybe going into the second quarter, maybe Miami will be rattled in the beginning, but I think y'all have the better team. I know they have the number one recruiting class, but they also have the dumbest coach in the SEC in Jimbo Fisher. I mean, with the talent that he had last year, and they went 8-4. They beat Alabama, but then lose to inferior teams. I'm telling you right now, y'all have a chance in that game. I'm not predicting Miami to win that game. I'm not that confident, but it's going to be a good game, and it wouldn't totally shock me if Miami upset Texas A&M.
yeah, I mean, it's anything's possible. But hold on, let me bring up something because I want to talk about this while I have you on here.
And let me say one more thing since we're talking about the SEC. One of the things that really, really, really ticks me off about the SEC is their scheduling. All right, so they only have what 8 conference games every year. Uh, for the most part, 4 cupcake games. Now, every once in a while, they'll schedule a good out of conference, like I guess Alabama going to Texas, maybe a good game for a quarter and a half. I don't know. And then going past that, so they have 8 conference games, right? And only like 4 away games. Like most people play at least 5 away games. We get 6 away games from time to time, but every year 5. SEC don't do that. They do 4 away, except for Vanderbilt. They have 6. They always get stomped on. But most SEC teams, the vast majority, every year 4 away games. So I don't buy the whole they have the toughest schedule in the nation. I don't buy that.
Okay, so wait, why is it doing that? So basically, I seen a couple predictions, early predictions came out, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it because this, it has to do with you guys.
All right.
So I'm gonna pop this up on the screen and see if I get your thoughts and opinions on it. So way too early, 2022 Big 12 wins according to Bud Elliott. So according to him, and this is from 247 Sports, got this graphic from Josh Pate. Shout out to Josh Pate with the late kick show. So basically, West Virginia, they're predicting you guys to have 6 wins this year. Go 6-6, so bowl eligible, no conference title, no conference championship game. What's your thoughts and how accurate do you think this is?
Well, I've seen this before. I'm glad you brought it up. At first glance, loses credibility right off the bat. Why? Because he has no Big 12 teams having a 10-win season. None. Look at all those win totals 9, 8, 7, 7. He's got 5 teams with a 7-win season, and then Oklahoma maxes out at 9. I don't even think Oklahoma wins the Big 12. I think it's going to be between Ohio State or Oklahoma State and Baylor, and most definitely will get 10 wins. So that right off the bat discredits, whoever this guy is. And then West Virginia at 6-6. I think he's basing it on, the letdown year that we had last year. He's not taking into an account that 4 of our 6 losses were 50-50 one possession losses. You flip 2 of those, that's 8-4. You flip all 4 of those, that's a 10-win season. Am I predicting West Virginia to have a 10-win season? I think they have a shot, but no, that's not my actual prediction. I think 6 wins is way off. I think we do flip some of those 50-50 football games, and I think West Virginia is looking at 8-4 or 9-3. I'm really leaning towards 9-3. I like 9-3 this year.
Okay. So they also did the same for us. Let me go ahead and pop that on. See if I can get that up there. They pretty much did it for everyone. Here we go. All right, so and you can give your thoughts on this. You pretty much watch college football all around, so they're predicting that the ACC championship game will be between Miami and Clemson. Clemson will be the 10 win, and everybody else will be 9 or under. Um, on that side with Clemson, do you think that is accurate, or would you flip anything around? Any other teams?
The only thing that I would probably disagree on is I think NC State is going to have a 10-win season. Clemson will probably have a 10-win season. I'm okay with that. I do think Wake Forest takes a downtick with that 8 spot. But Florida State, Louisville, and Syracuse all having 6 wins. I definitely don't agree with that. I don't think Syracuse will make a bowl, and I think Louisville is going to be better than what people realize. They could be an 8-4 team. Now for the Coastal, somebody's going to get 10 wins. So right off the bat, I disagree with that. Whether it's Miami or Pitt, it's going to be one of those two. I'm leaning towards Miami. I think Miami gets the 10 wins, and Pitt's probably right there with an 8-4, 9-3. North Carolina, I'm good with. Virginia Tech, I don't think they make a ball, so I disagree with the 6. And I definitely
Now,
disagree with Virginia. I think Virginia's a bowl team this year.
now the Virginia prediction, is that a little bit biased, or
The Virginia Tech, no. Virginia Tech, man, they're in total rebuild mode, and their schedule is not favorable at all. I do think Virginia Tech will rebound and be a good program. They always do, but this is one of those years where they're not going to be very good. And I think Virginia is being underrated in that prediction. I think Virginia is a solid 7-5 team.
all right? So, me personally, I think this list is fine, except for one thing on here. I think it's way off, and that's Florida State winning 6 games. I don't see them winning more than 4.
It's going to be close. It's going to be
Yeah.
close. They might be able to limp into a bowl, but that's going to be their limit.
Yeah, I don't see them
Now,
winning
wait,
6.
is this like his limit, like the best they can do, or his actual prediction?
No, this is way too early predictions.
Okay, so yeah, 6 wins would be their limit. Actual prediction, probably 5-7.
5-7. I'll take that. See,
Yeah,
no bowl game. Another losing year, 5 in a row.
that's
I'll take
crazy, man. They used to dominate the ACC. That is
that.
crazy.
So, as you know, transfer portal. You guys have went into the transfer portal and got a few players of your own. The key one, the most mentioned, JT Daniels. So, what's the feel in Morgantown in acquiring a guy like JT Daniels? Didn't quite do much at Georgia. You've seen the whole Stetson Bennett era going on. He came in from USC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It was his job at Georgia until he got, injured. So, what's the feel around Morgantown for JT Daniels?
Well, honestly, I think that Georgia's offense would have been better if they would have started JT Daniels. But Georgia's defense is what won them that national championship. So they didn't really need, the best offense ever. They just needed a capable offense. So I guess, he went with Stetson Bennett. Feeling around Morgantown is absolute, finally something went our way, because Mesner going to Miami, Porter going to Miami, a bunch of other players, transferring. We had a starter, Nick Troy Fortune. He transferred. But he actually got beat out on his position. That's why he transferred. He's playing for UTSA. But you know how West Virginia fans, it doesn't matter if the transfer benefits us. They're still going to whine about it. Oh, he was a starter. Yeah, but he got beat for his position, so who cares? Same with Jarrett Daggy, the quarterback that transferred to Western Kentucky. West Virginia fans wanted him gone. He transferred. Oh, there's something going on in West Virginia. Our starting quarterback from last year just transferred. Well, that's what we needed. We were doing addition through subtraction. And JT Daniels was a massive, massive pickup. I actually predicted it back in January, early February, that JT Daniels was going to come to West Virginia. As soon as I heard that he entered the transfer portal, I said, he's coming to West Virginia. And the reason is because of Graham Harrell. Graham Harrell helped recruit him. JT Daniels is familiar with Graham Harrell's offense. When you have a quarterback like JT who's trying to impress the NFL, he's in his latter years in college football. He wants to be in a place where there's a familiar offense. So he knows the offense that Graham Harrell calls. And the combination, it's not just JT Daniels. It's the combination of JT Daniels and Graham Harrell that really excites me about this offense. And we have speed at running back this year because we brought in Lynn J. Dixon from Clemson.
Yeah, I accidentally mute myself. So, what's the ceiling for West Virginia? I know it's way too early. Injuries happen and stuff like that. A lot of it'll change once fall comes around. But if you had to put a cap, a ceiling on West Virginia, how many wins would you say right now?
Now, this is going to sound completely homer, but I would say 10 would be the cap. Now, injuries would have to be at minimum. We'd have to flip all those 50-50 football games. We'd have to stop making those mental mistakes. But I do think the 10 wins is doable. We get Baylor at home and we get Oklahoma at home. Really, the only road game that I see that I'm like, I don't see West Virginia winning that. Like, I'm really not giving us a chance at all. And that's the last game at Oklahoma State. All the other road games, including the first game at Pitt, I think are winnable. That's not really a road game for West Virginia, actually. We're going to bring about 40,000 people to that stadium. They can't even fill their own stadium. So I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to be there.
So, West Virginia, go ahead and let them know what would be the cons, the pros and the cons of West Virginia actually joining the ACC.
Well, are you talking about the pros and the cons for West Virginia?
Yeah, actually joining the ACC.
Okay, so the pros, of course, for West Virginia joining is number one, renewing all the rivalries. Not just renewing them, but playing them every year. I mean, yeah, we got home and home against Virginia Tech, but that goes away next year. We got home and home with Pitt, and then a 3-year gap, and then another home and home. We'd get to play them every year. On top of that, we get to play Louisville every year, Boston College every year, Syracuse every year, you guys every year, and then geography. So the reason West Virginia joined the Big 12 is because of money, and a lot of it. Well, now that Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC, that money is going to shrink significantly. And on top of that, there's going to be more hands to feed. So it's going to be split between more teams. So the thinking is the money that made up for the travel is not going to be there anymore. And that's why it was finally decided that we should actually join the ACC, even if the money isn't as much as we were making whenever Oklahoma and Texas were at the Big 12. I know they're still there, but I'm talking post Oklahoma, Texas. That was the only reason why we were in the Big 12 was the money. That's going to be gone. There's going to be absolutely no reason for West Virginia to stay in the Big 12. I mean, adding Cincinnati, that's a close school, I guess. UCF, no, that's not really close. That's almost as far as going to Ames, Iowa. Houston, that's in Texas. So there's no benefit for staying in the Big 12. The money is not going to be there anymore. And I'll actually get to go to way more road games. I'm happy that I get to go to Pitt and Virginia Tech this year. Being in the Big 12, I can't go on road games. That's too far for me. Excuse me 1 second. I drank way too much Gatorade. I gotta take a really quick break. I'll be right back, man.
Okay, no problem.
My bad.
I was trying to see where you guys are at in recruiting for the 2023 at 35. Um, Everybody in the chat, 52 watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't already. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Let me see. Homestead, what's going on, boss? How you doing? Gator hater, man. Haven't seen you in a long time, man. I know it's tough being a FSU fan, with all the losing that's going on over there, with all the NIL money that don't exist over there, and everything like that. Man, how you been, man? All right, so my guest is taking a bathroom break, so he'll be back in a sec. Nick 305, what's going on with you? How you doing? So yeah, basically right now we're talking a little bit of Miami and West Virginia football. We're gonna take a look at their transfers and recruiting class and see what's going on there. The relation between Miami and West Virginia is basically we got Coach Adai, Jamel Adai. He was a West Virginia player, was a West Virginia coach. Went to Georgia after leaving West Virginia, and then now he's at Miami. We just reached into the transfer portal and grabbed two guys from West Virginia, which is Darrell Porter and Mazador. So right now, all right. So overall class for you guys this year, they're saying overall was 41, composite 35, and transfer rating you're at 52. So how does this class? Did you guys only? So they say you got 9 enrollees. So the other ones probably come later on.
Yeah, they'll go. They'll come in early summer probably or late spring.
Okay, so looking
I
at
think
your
close.
class, I see you got quite a few guys from the Miami area.
Yep.
So you have
Jacoby Spells was the big one.
so you got the Carlos. I met the Carlo
Yep.
Donald. He's a Gulliver Prep kid, rated as a 3-star. He's a tight end. So you guys are definitely have your hands on a lot of Florida talent. Who else you got?
Yeah, that's been a pipeline for West Virginia.
Um, Travaris Langton. That's another one. I know Miami recruited him. Linebacker, 3-star out of
Yep.
Gulliver Prep also. So it seems like you guys got a small pipeline in at Gulliver Prep right now.
Yep.
The coaches down there are pretty much feeling you guys. Let me see.
Yeah, that's been a big strength for West Virginia.
Let me see. Jacoby Spells,
Yep. That was a
American
big one.
Heritage Fort Lauderdale guy. Now Jacoby was rated as a 4-star cornerback. Miami did recruit him. I think it came down to actually Miami and West Virginia. He
Yep.
chose to go to West Virginia. Um, yeah. So anybody else on that squad that's a Florida kid or
I th-
is that pretty much
I'm
it?
pretty sure that's all, but we did get I can't think of his name, but we also got a 4-star for the 2023 out of Florida, but his name escapes me. That was
Uh,
big news the other day. But yeah, we got a pretty good pipeline going on in Florida.
okay, so transfer portal wise now, you guys picked up JT Daniels.
Yep.
I picked up a linebacker here.
He used to play for Miami. Pollinday,
What is he?
Brian Pollinday, that tight end. He used to play for Miami before he
No,
was at Colorado State. He was at Miami.
he played for Miami, but he didn't play for Miami.
Right, right.
Yeah, he was pretty much buried behind what's his name? Jordan Britt, Brevin Jordan and Mallory. So
Mallory. Y'all had some good tight ends, man.
yeah, I think we're definitely tighter than you. But I mean, if you ask a Notre Dame fan, they might want to debate that. So you guys
Yeah.
also got Dixon out of Clemson.
Yeah.
Solid. That's a solid running back.
Yeah, and the reason his star ranking went down is because Clemson didn't play him last year because they said they had locker room issues with him. So I would go with the 4-star based on his attributes and his athleticism. I haven't heard any complaints within the locker room. I actually talked to an inside source, had him on my show. His name is Dale Wolfley. We call him the Wolfman. He was actually the offensive line for the national championship whenever we went to the national championship in 1988. And he was telling me that before all these players entered the transfer portal, there were like little cliques, in the locker room, which is bad. And he said now he hasn't seen any cliques. It's like just one family now. And so I'm happy to hear that. To me that tells me that Lin Jay's bought in, and we're not going to have those issues.
All right, so I'm looking at your class so far for 2023. pretty early. A lot of kids don't really commit as of right now. It's a little early, but you do
Yeah.
have six hard commits so far. All six of them are 3-star guys here. Possibly could earn another star or two.
They need to update though, because we got a 4-star this past week. That needs to be updated. Not
Yeah.
you, them. Your sports needs to update that.
What was the kid's name?
Hold on. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Because
Uh,
sometimes the star system is different. Right now, I'm on 247. So if
yeah.
it, maybe on Rival, it's a guy that's a 4-star, but
Let me see here. Hold on.
so far it looks like the kids that you
I
got.
think it's Josiah. Josiah Trotter is his name.
Okay, yeah. So he's actually the top of the list right here.
Yeah.
And they have him listed as a 3-star. So maybe the 4-star is on Rivals or
Yeah. This is
in 3.
Yeah, it might be rivals.
So it seems when they break it down by state, you got 2 guys from Ohio, 2 guys from Pennsylvania, and 2 guys from South Carolina. So you're getting your talent and your commits from out of state so far.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, Neil Brown has locked down the state of West Virginia for West Virginia University. I'm not worried about that. Before he came in, Holgerson didn't close the borders. You have to do that first before you can recruit well outside of your state. And the past 2 years since Neil Brown came to West Virginia, we have gotten not only the top talent in West Virginia, but like the top 3 or 4 talent. So we've locked down the borders. We're good. We're good on our state now. Now we can go out and recruit better in other states, and that's exactly what it looks like.
All right. So I actually want to take a look at you guys transfer portal, the ones that are actually leaving.
Mesidor leaving hurt. Y'all got a good one in him, man. Y'all got a good one in him.
All right.
That was
So
pretty big.
why is it so? Oh,
Yeah, if you
there
go
it
down
is.
the list, I can break it down for you real quick. So the top one that you see right there, Troy Fortune, I already talked about him. He actually got beat out by Charles Woods. That's why he transferred to UTSA. Hakeem Mesidor, that was the shocker, man.
All right. So
But
we'll
big
start from
pickup for y'all.
you got a huge list. All
Yeah,
right. Hold
you
on.
got hit hard.
Let me put it on just the ones that transferred in. Okay, never mind. We'll just keep it on. We'll keep it on all of them. Hey,
Yeah, I think we had
hey,
like
here we go.
19 transferred from West Virginia.
So the first one, Eddie Watkins, a linebacker. So far it says that he doesn't have a destination.
Yeah, he was a depth player. That's not going to affect us really much at all.
You got Kerry Martin.
Yeah, he was at one point in time he was actually a pretty decent safety, but he kind of fell off there towards what was it? It was towards the end of 2021, no 2020, and then last year he didn't have a good year at all. So he's playing backup role, and he wanted to find a starting position. So as far as starting goes, didn't really affect us.
So he transferred over to Akron.
Yep,
Then you have another
he
guy
will
here.
start over there. He will start over there.
Then you got a guy here, Darrell Middleton. He also transferred as a defensive lineman. Still
Yeah,
doesn't have a destination.
I didn't see much of him at all.
Then you have another linebacker, Devell Washington. He also hit the portal. Linebacker, no destination.
He was a good second string. That hurt us on depth. Not gonna lie.
Running back, Avarius Spro.
Yeah, he has some speed. Not gonna lie. That hurts West Virginia in the return game because we used him more in the return game.
So
So yeah, that's
Miami
gonna hurt a
might
little bit.
Miami might actually see this kid because we do play Middle Tennessee
Yep.
this year, so we'll definitely run into him. Bad luck for him, but he's gonna be a
Yeah,
part of that beat down. That
it's gonna
basically
be ugly.
those get the jitters out game kind of. beat up on a younger team kind of game.
Yeah, I think he's a better all-purpose player than a running back. I wasn't impressed with his running abilities.
So then you lose a wide receiver, Sam Brown, to Houston.
Yeah, that Sam Brown was a Dana Holgerson recruit, so he finally got Sam Brown. And Sam Brown was a good player for a while, but he also had some really bad games. So uh, that actually kind of helped us because we actually had too many receivers that were kind of at the same level, and they couldn't get their groove because they were trying to get everybody touches. I'm okay with that.
All right. So then you lose another guy, Parker Moore. Moore.
Yeah, depth guy.
Okay. Another one in Vandorius Cohen.
Yes, that one I was a little upset about. I mean, it's not a huge loss, but he definitely contributed at West Virginia. He was a good linebacker.
Yeah, it seems like you guys lose a lot of linebackers, like four.
Yep, that's we're looking in the portal to get some depth there because we got some good starters in Floyd and Dixon, but we're very thin at linebackers. So we're looking for those, and we're looking for some safety for depths, some safeties for depth.
Okay. Um,
But our defense will be fine. We're going to have a great defensive line, even though we lost Hakeem Mesdor. Jordan Jefferson is going to be great at the nose tackle, taking his place.
what's the
Quarterback position will be fine too.
what's the deal with Winston Wright? Because he's transferred and enrolled at Florida State right now, so we might actually run into him also. What's the deal with him? Why did he transfer? Is he any good?
He was our leading receiver last year. That's why West Virginia fans kind of flipped out when he hit the transfer portal. But the context of that is he was the leading receiver by like 10 yards, and there was like six receivers, within 10, 15 yards. So it wasn't like we lost our far and away best wide receiver. He just happened to have the most yards by, a couple yards. Um,
What was receptions compared? How many yards did he have?
Not 1,000. I think it was like 815 or something like that. He wasn't 1,000-yard receiver.
Okay, so how many receptions do you think he had?
If I had to, I think he had something in the 40s or 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Hold
Okay,
on one second. Give me 1 second.
so he's just another um what's the word for him? What's the word for it without sounding disrespectful?
He's another Joe.
Yeah, it's just another average player.
Yep, I got you. All right, so a little higher than what I thought. Reception 63, but lower in yards, only 688. 63 receptions for 688 yards and 5 touchdowns. So it wasn't like he was putting out massive yards on for West Virginia or anything. We had a bad quarterback, and he just happened to be the leading receiver by a couple yards.
So now scrolling through your transfer portal guys, the guys that are coming in and going out, it seems as if you guys get a lot more 3 stars. What's the deal with the coaches? Are they not recruiting at the highest level, or what's going on with that?
Well, if you compare our recruiting classes to Dana Holgerson, we're actually recruiting better. It's the JUCO players that we've kind of slacked off a little bit. So, if we can get back on track with that, then we'll actually be doing really good in recruiting. West Virginia is not, a top. We've never recruited in the top 20 or top 25. Every once in a while, we got close. Like when we had that great team under Rich Rod, I think we had number 26. I think that's the highest class we've ever had. That's just the territory that West Virginia is in right now. Neil Brown's trying to build back the brand, and maybe we can get back into being a top, close to a top 25 recruiting class. But right now, there's still some work to be done. I will say this though: I bet you right now that Winston Wright Jr. is kicking himself in the rear end for transferring because he hit the transfer portal before West Virginia got JT Daniels. And now he's over on a sucky Florida State team. and he's going to have another bad year when he could have stayed at West Virginia and had JT Daniels for a quarterback and maybe turn some eyeballs for the NFL. That was a bad decision.
Here's something to think about. The top what you call it, transporter guy actually transferred from West Virginia to Miami. The
Yep.
second the second transfer guy, top transfer guy, is JT Daniels transferring to West Virginia. So you
Yep.
got an up and a downside right there. But
Yep.
then it goes down again because then you have Daryl Porter, which is ranked number 3 on that list as basically from West Virginia to Miami.
Yep.
And then the list goes on. You lose another guy from West Virginia to Florida State. So
Yeah, we got. I think it was a total of like 19 or 20 players that hit the transfer portal. Really, and that's a big number. But most of those were depth. Really, the names that are going to actually hurt West Virginia in some fashion or form, Mesidor. That's going to hurt West Virginia. Um, Winston Wright, yes, but not in a concerning way. Daryl Porter, I think he'll do great for y'all, but I don't think that really hurts West Virginia because he wasn't reliable. The dude just took too many chances. But Mesidor, that's a good pickup for you guys. I'll tell you that right now. That's a great pickup for your defensive line.
all right, so basically Miami's transfer portal pretty much got updated a little bit this week. We didn't really lose anybody that's like game changers or anything like that, but I'll run through it. I see we got some Bahamas in the building. Bahamas, what's going on, boss? How you doing, man?
Hey,
Uh,
but you know what the good thing is? Today is May 1st, so we ain't got to worry about any more.
yeah, that's true too. If if you're gonna hear anything about a transfer, it's probably gonna be until 12 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So I'll stay up till 12 o'clock. If not, then
Man, you made me nervous again. I forgot about that. Dang, I thought it was midnight this morning.
some of the kids that's you know wanting to get in there, they'll do it by 12 o'clock tonight. The ones that
Yeah.
kind of don't want no pressure or nobody looking at them. Um, yeah. So Miami's updated transfer portal so far. This week we had 4 more players join the transfer portal. None of them really impact right away. More of depth guys. Um,
Right.
Cameron Williams hit the transfer portal. Um, Deshaun Troutman hit the transfer portal, but that one was didn't have a choice transfer portal because he got kicked off the team. Um,
Oh, okay.
Alleged conflict between him and his girlfriend or ex girlfriend, allegedly. So
Gotcha.
um, a kicker, punter that literally has nothing to really affect us.
Right.
Um, and Daz Worsham. Now this one is a wide receiver. Was one of the top wide receivers in Alabama when we did get him. We did get him over Alabama, Auburn, and a couple more teams. But unfortunately, he never really developed or anything like that. At Miami, he's always been underweight or whatever.
Yeah.
Last year actually in the spring game, he got hurt because he took a hit from Avante Williams, but
Oh,
never really kind of transcended here at Miami. So wherever he
yeah.
ends up, I mean, good luck to him. Probably he's from Alabama, so he might want to get a little bit closer there.
You're
But
probably right. Yeah.
good luck to him. We did lose Cody Brown, running back that transferred into Miami. Well, he didn't really transfer from into Miami from Tennessee. He signed with Tennessee, but they let him out of his letter of intent. Signed with Miami, and now he's in the portal. So
Dang.
not quite sure if Tennessee would be one of those places that he end up. They might be still scoring from that. But good luck to him. Linebacker Tariq Austin Cave hit the transfer portal. Um, Manny Diaz's excuse for him not seeing the field or anything like that was based on not knowing the playbook, which is kind of
Hmm.
tough to me when you don't have a playbook. Manny
Yeah,
Diaz,
that's That's a really new playbook too.
Yeah, Manny Diaz never had a playbook, so it's kind of tough to learn a playbook when you don't have a playbook.
He don't have a playbook.
Man, it came out a lot of stuff came out after Manny got fired. They say he never had a
Okay,
playbook.
okay, I got you. I didn't know
So
about that. That's crazy.
yeah, all right. So we lost Larry Hodges, which is like maybe a fourth string tight end or whatever. That's tough. So the guys that we did lose wasn't major pieces, or like
Right,
DJ Khaled like to say major keys.
right. I got you. Well,
Uh,
that's always a good off season. I mean,
Now we did lose Nesta Silvera. Now that was a good one. You know, depending on how you looked at him, he did give us a lot of good plays here and there. I mean, could have been a little bit more consistent if you ask me, but
yeah,
he still was a good player in my book or whatever. Lost Camden Price was a backup kicker, so not really stressing over that one. Who else did we lose? Corey Gaynor, center. He's now at North Carolina, so we'll see him this season. Um,
the
good
starter.
luck to him. He had his ups and downs, but I
Gotcha.
don't think he would have started this year. I think he saw the writing on the wall.
Okay, I got you.
Gervin Hall, he's gone over to Utah State. Gervin Hall was basically the guy they made all the come on man on ESPN, basically
Yeah,
going for the blocker instead of going for the running back.
yeah.
Kind of
I remember that. That was funny.
yeah. Then you have Mark Pope. He at the portal had to drop Caesar, but he's over there now at JSU with Deion Sanders. So
Yep.
good luck to him. Yeah, that's pretty much it for our transfer portal. So we didn't really lose anybody that's like you know a standout, a star, oh my god kind of player. So it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Well, that I mean, a lot of fans need to realize every year there's gonna be players that enter the transfer portal. That's unavoidable. Looking at your list, it looks like the players that you needed to enter the transfer portal did so because you gotta shed some of that weight that doesn't really need to be there. I don't see any big time hits for y'all. Now for West Virginia, I would say I would say one big time hit, and that would be Mesidor. It's debatable about Daryl. He's too I don't know. He's too up and down for me to say, man, that really sucks. Mesidor, yeah, that one sucked a lot.
Now, if you want to see an entire team hit the transfer portal, just go over and take a look at Florida State's transfer portal list. That thing goes on. It just goes on and on and on.
Wasn't it last year that like Tennessee lost like 30 players to the portal? I think that was last year. Whenever I saw that number last year, that's
Yeah,
probably the
like,
most I've ever seen out of any team ever.
like
30 players.
the crazy thing about that, Tennessee lose all these players because of the whole McDonald money bag,
Yep.
and now everybody's getting money bags.
Yep.
So they was literally a year ahead of themselves.
I
But
didn't think about it that way. That's a good point right there. That's a very good point. What about Lincoln Riley, man? He's getting high graded recruits all over the place, man. He got Gentry. It was
I
either
actually want to speak.
today or yesterday from Arizona State. Great linebacker, 4-star. Could be arguably a 5-star. Of course, Caleb Williams, 5-star. Mario Williams, 5-star. I mean, my gosh, USC won the transfer portal, and it's not even close.
Now, I actually want to speak on Lincoln Riley and USC and the whole transfer portal thing. Pitt's wide receiver Edison.
Yep.
What's your take on that? Do you think there's tampering or anything? Because I've been hearing a lot of tampering noise, whether it's on Twitter or other message boards. Do you think they're tampering with? Do you think Lincoln Riley is tampering with Addison? Because
I think.
I've heard they're talking about him contradicting himself about the whole tampering thing and all of that.
Well,
I think he's been tampering with all of his transfers. Okay, so the answer is yes. I think he's tampering, but the problem is there's not any real rules with tampering. I mean, there's some guidelines, something like that, but there's no like, if you break this rule, this is what happens. So, yeah, I would say he's definitely tampering. Is he going to get punished? Probably not. Until we get some guidelines going for this NIL and the transfer portal, this is a free for all. This is going to be a pay for play, free for all. Whoever can give me the most money, that's where I'm going. I mean that's where we're headed right now.
All right, so if you look at the transfer portal rankings as of right now, USC is at the top of the list with the number one transfer portal class. They have
Yep.
15 transfer portal kids coming in, one being a 5 star. 4 star, they have 5 of those, and 9 3 stars.
Man, that's
Then to
crazy.
top out the list, you got USC at number one, Ole Miss number two, LSU three, Oklahoma four, Alabama five, South Carolina six, UCLA seven, Texas eight, Miami nine, and Arkansas at 10. So USC, let's take a quick look at the kids that they actually brought in through the transfer portal.
If they get Addison, man, that's two solid 5 stars. And I would argue that Mario Williams is a 5 star. I know he's listed as a 4 star, but I would argue that he's a 5 star.
All right, so basically, let's see, man, they lost a lot.
Yep.
With a coaching change, that always happens. But let's see the ones they actually took in. So Terrell from Washington, not quite sure anything about him, but you got a 4 star in Brendan Brendan Rice.
Yep.
He went from Colorado to USC. Who else? Quarterback Caleb Williams went from
Yep.
Oklahoma to USC. That was a given. You know,
And then
everybody
Mario
expected
Williams.
that to happen for
Yep.
him to follow. Then you have the receiver that also went from Oklahoma to USC, following. Then you took Tyrone, defensive lineman out of Kansas State.
Yep. That was a big blow for Kansas State.
A cornerback in Mackay Blackman out of
Yes.
Colorado. Then they took another cornerback from Oklahoma. I know a lot of Oklahoma fans are pissed.
Oh, they're furious.
They took
Furious.
Trill, and then who else? Anybody else from? Oh, guy from Alabama, Shine Lee.
Yep.
He's a linebacker. Another guy from Auburn, another linebacker on Romello Heights. Miami fans were definitely um, familiar with that guy. He's actually from down here or whatever. But who else? Oregon.
Travis Dye.
Yeah,
Day.
running back from
Yeah.
there.
See, that's the thing. If you look over who they got, I would say at least 80% of the transfers incoming will start in game one. I mean,
And
that's
then
how
their
well they did. They did amazing.
most recent is Eric Gentry.
Yeah.
He's a linebacker
Arizona
from
State. That was a
Arizona
big
State.
one. That was a big one. A lot of people were going after him.
Yeah, I think.
Now, I heard that Addison is in the portal, but Pitt has matched the offer from USC. That I'm telling you, that's what we're looking at. They're getting offered money, and then the university that they're entering the transfer portal out of has to match that to keep them, and Pitt is matching that. So maybe he doesn't leave Pitt, maybe he does stay at Pitt, but he's
Um,
going to have a big decision to make.
Unless they updated, I don't see his name on here in their transfers. So he
Maybe he pulled
might
out.
have to, they might
He
have
might
to
have pulled out.
actually
Yeah.
update, but as of right now, his name is still not in the portal.
Okay. Well, he may have backed out. Because I heard that they did match the offer. So
Yeah, from
we'll
what I'm
see.
hearing, I think Aaron Donalds and Larry Fitzgerald actually stepped in with NIL money for the kid or whatever.
Yeah,
So I don't know if he's gonna stay at Pitt, but my question is, what's his reason for leaving Pitt? Because I
money.
know,
$2 million. $2 million was his reason.
so that's the NIL deal money for him, two
No,
million
that's
dollars.
not NIL. That's pay for play.
So they was paying him $2 million.
$2 million. And USC has some of the best NIL deals going on. So $2 million, hey, come play with us. And then once he gets to USC, then he can explore their huge avenue of NIL possibilities. I mean, we're talking about Hollywood, man.
Yeah,
You know they're going to have some good NIL deals over there.
talking about a school where there's so many alumni that's willing to put money into that school.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like music stars, movie stars. I mean, it's crazy. I bet their eyes lit up when they heard that the NIL was passed. They knew that they had it.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Pick Panthers. I don't know why.
You know who this is hurting? Well, personally, I think this is hurting college football, but beyond college football, this free for all, being able to pay for play, NIL, all that stuff, this is going to hurt the NFL. Okay. The reason it's going to hurt the NFL is what is the reason these college players, put their bodies on the line and, want to get to the NFL for money, right? So if they can start making big money in college before they get to the NFL, and I'm not saying everybody, but some of these players are going to have second thoughts about going to the NFL and, damaging their bodies. It's going to put a dent. I'm not saying that everybody's going to choose not to go to the NFL or a big percentage. I'm just saying a decent little chunk are going to say, hey, we already got paid. We don't have to go to NFL.
Now my question is too, how far does paying these NIL deals go? Because you're gonna start seeing kids transferring year in and year out. You see a guy that maybe has one of his greatest seasons at school, and then hit the transfer portal the next year.
Yep.
Like, well, why is he leaving? He's a starter. He's the top guy. Why is he leaving? Why does he want to go to somewhere else? NIL deal, more money,
Exactly right.
more money.
I mean, that's exactly what happened with Addison here. Now, maybe Pitt matched that, but what you just said, that is exactly what happened with him.
Because that's what I'm kind of seeing right now with we just had a similar situation with Isaiah Wong, but that's been rectified or whatever. So Isaiah Wong and his NIL deal, he's sticking to that. But there was threats of him actually leaving, to seek more money elsewhere. But that's all cleared up and he's staying on board. But we see that even with Florida State, what's his name? Jarvis Brownlee. He started all
Yep.
this. He came out and basically held out of practice because he wants NIL money. So I
Yep.
think in the near future that we're going to start seeing more situation like that.
Yeah, we're going to see multimillionaires while they're still in college.
I
Seriously.
mean, I'm hearing so many deals going on. What is actually the highest NIL deal out there? That's a good question.
Yeah, you might want to look that up for sure. I'm sure it's multi-million. I know Caleb Williams has a big one, if I'm not mistaken.
And now I do believe if you're looking for the lowest NIL deals, the lowest possible, you'd have to go to Tallahassee. I think Florida
Pretty
State.
good. But that's why West Virginia, well, not the university itself, but some big time donors and boosters of West Virginia started the Country Roads Trust Fund, and basically that's for anybody, not just the big boosters and donors like me. I can pledge like $20 a month to go towards the Country Roads Trust Fund, and that literally is a fund to either go get players or keep players, and they're trying to encourage people to donate, because if you can get, not everybody's a millionaire. I certainly am not, but I can afford $20 a month, So if you get a bunch of people that throw a 20, 100, 1,000 or whatever per month, that can build up into hundreds of thousands, even millions. And, then you can go after a big time player, or you can keep a big time player. Like if we would have had enough money, we could have kept Hakeem Mesidor, but we didn't have it then.
Wow, did he really just do that?
What happened?
Tennessee fans that coach or whatever that is has no class. Looks like an old footage.
Oh,
Just went through a bottle over
why?
there. No class. I mean, Tennessee fans are known for throwing things, so
Yeah.
there's no
Jeez, you got to control your emotions in the moment. Can't do that. I mean, that's out there forever too. Like he can't undo that.
yeah,
Idiot.
man.
T2Y, you know how I am, man. If I see something stupid, I'm going to say it. That guy's a moron.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it makes the world interesting, I guess.
That's true. You can't fix stupid, and it does make for good entertainment and good content.
Yeah, I mean, had they not done that, nobody would be talking about Tennessee baseball.
That's.
I mean,
I definitely wasn't thinking about it.
they're doing pretty decent though, but
Yeah, West Virginia's actually having a pretty good year in baseball, like top 25. We beat some good teams. Like we beat a top. Who was it? Texas Tech, who was way up there, in Oklahoma State. Had a pretty good year in baseball so far.
so I'm not
I'm not
quite
a
sure.
big, I'm not a big baseball fan though, so I don't really keep up with it that much.
Yeah, I'm not a big baseball fan, but I did get the chance to go out to a Miami Hurricane baseball game a couple weeks ago. It was pretty decent. I liked it. I
Hey,
definitely do it again, but watching it on TV, definitely not.
no, heck no, man. Look, if you want to, all right, think about the most miserable fan bases out there, and then I'm going to give you who I've been a fan of my entire life. All right, so I've been a West Virginia fan my entire life, right? I mean, we've had some good years, yeah, but I mean, we've never won a national championship, and dude, my heart has gotten broken so many times I can't even count. All right, so in the MLB, I'm a fan of the Reds. What have they done? Nothing. Suck. They've had some decent years under Dusty Baker, but for the most part, they suck. And then for the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. So last year was a breakthrough year. Finally, one of my teams got to a championship, and I can actually remember it. So I've never experienced that feeling. That was the first time. We lost, but that's okay. But my entire life, man, my teams have not been very good. So I'm
Wait, who's
really
your best?
hoping that Cincinnati gets it done this year, man. I really want the Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
Man, that's tough for you because I'm a Rams fan.
Yeah, man. I
Man,
forgot about that. I knew you were, but I wasn't thinking about that. But I
yeah.
mean, we gave it a good go, though, man. I mean, it wasn't like a blowout or anything like that,
Oh no, it was definitely a good game. I'm just glad we won because
man.
21 years. Whew,
Yeah,
I'm glad I could hit the reset button.
but you a Miami fan too. You seen success at Miami too, right? Like I've never seen any type of championship like that. Like you couldn't just
Who's
give me
your
one T2Y,
basketball?
man. Just give me one. Just
Who's your
one.
basketball team? Who's your like
Basketball
NBA?
team is the freaking Knicks, man.
Oh my God, my Lakers won in 2020.
You know what? You know what?
So
I
I
didn't
feel
even
good.
have a basketball team until I was like, yeah, I don't know, 16 or 17, because I didn't watch it all that much. But the thing that changed my mind was 1998, the NBA playoffs, when the 8 seed Knicks went all the way to the finals and lost to the Spurs. And so I became a Knicks fan right then and there. But after that, they've done nothing. So it just added to my tree of woe.
So
Tough
okay,
times, man. Tough times.
let's talk championship. So
All right.
in your mind, for West Virginia to become a championship caliber team, how long you think it would take, and what pieces do you think need to be put in place?
Number one, get to the ACC. We're not going to win a championship in the Big 12. It's not happening. It's not doable. Okay, it's not, and it's not because the teams are tougher in the Big 12. We just don't fit in the Big 12. We're not going to get any calls. The travel does wear on the players, and I know they take a plane, but when all of your away games are in the Midwest, that's going to wear on you. Okay, so first thing, get to the ACC. Second thing, I think we need to change some things around the stadium. I like our stadium, but if you're not familiar with West Virginia Stadium, on one end of the end zone you have the bandstands, and some suites. That's fine. But on the other end of the stadium, you have the weight room and then a deck that goes over it and connects the two sidelines. That needs to be brought down and trap that crowd noise. We already have a great home field advantage. That would make it even better. So little things here and there, and then Neil Brown needs to make sure that he can get us recruiting, at least in the top 25 consistently, not just once every, 5-6 years, consistently, year after year, have a top 25 recruiting class. As far as timetable goes, well, it would depend on, when we got the ACC. If we get in 2025, then maybe we can start talking about building towards the championship team.
Now, how would that
Decade
work?
from now. Decade from now. Seriously, decade from now.
How would that work? If you guys were to come into the ACC, how would that work? I mean, which side would they put you guys on?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. And I saw an article about this today, updating the situation. So the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips, is actually petitioning the NCAA to do away with divisions in order to have a championship game for conferences that have 12 teams or more. And even today, the Big 12 put their divisions for whenever they add UCF, Cincinnati, Houston, and BYU. They put that on hold because they're waiting for the NCAA's decision. So that's a real possibility. If that happens, okay, if that happens, the ACC doesn't have to bring anybody in with West Virginia. And a lot of people are like, well, if Notre Dame doesn't come with you guys, you're not getting into the ACC because they need two teams, and Notre Dame is the other big brand out there. If they don't come, you're not coming. Well, if that petition goes through and you can have an odd number of teams and not have to have divisions, you wouldn't have to, have any divisions, and you wouldn't have to have equal teams. Now, okay, kind of got ahead of myself right there. If that doesn't happen and you do bring in West Virginia and Notre Dame, what division do you put them in? I think you put them in the Coastal. You have Pitt in the Coastal. You have Miami in the Coastal. You have Virginia Tech in the Coastal. You have North Carolina in the Coastal. And I think the culture of West Virginia would actually fit more in with the Coastal as well. You're talking more Appalachian. Well, besides Miami, honestly, I think they should move Miami to the Atlantic. I don't think y'all fit in the Coastal as much as everybody else. I think you would fit better in the Atlantic. But for the most part, it's the Appalachian chain division.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to put us in the Atlantic side, then we'd play Florida State every year like normal, and then we'd have actually um two different games every year in the other side instead of Florida State and then one other. Because that's why it actually takes so long for us to play the other teams in the Atlantic. Because we play Florida State and then we play one more, so they just rotate.
Yeah.
Florida State.
Honestly, I would flip Miami and Clemson. I would put Clemson in the Atlantic, or Clemson in the Coastal, and Miami in the Atlantic. That would make more sense to me as far as geography wise. I know Clemson isn't technically in the Appalachians, but it's close enough to where it would still be in the same region. You know what I'm saying? And then Miami would be over here in the Atlantic region. So if you flip those two, just that little simple change would make the divisions make way more sense. Because if you look at it on a map, the divisions are all over the place.
All right, so right, what I have right here on the screen for you guys that looking on, Malik He's a 5-star linebacker. Today he dropped his top five. So top five from Malik Bryan for those of you guys that keep up with recruiting. The Gators, USC, Alabama, UCF, and Miami. Shocking to see UCF in here, but yeah,
That is a shocker. I, from what I'm hearing, Miami's up there, but I think he's going to go to USC. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong because I don't like seeing the rich get
now,
richer.
from what I've been hearing from this kid here, it's mostly between Miami and Florida.
Really?
Yeah, but we'll
When
see
we
how
done with
it
the show,
goes.
send me the link to that because I haven't seen that. Like, I want to see that for real.
No,
Or you
no,
can pop it
that's
up if you want to.
no, that's from like Twitter and all that crap.
Okay, okay.
The people that comes into spaces and that's
Well, send me
around.
the name. Message me the name so I can look them up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, but yeah, Malik Bryant, 5-star linebacker.
John Kelly says I'd rather be playing for Florida State and Miami than UCF. Actually, I would rather play for UCF and Miami than Florida State.
And Miami rounds out its baseball trip to Georgia with another win today over Georgia Tech, 13-2. So
I
that's
didn't know y'all had that good of a baseball team. Dang, number 3?
yeah, we've always had a good baseball team.
That's pretty
We got
good.
four national championships baseball wise.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Couldn't you spare one championship for me, man? Just one.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't I didn't know you were rich in baseball too, man.
unfortunately for us, the last
Oh,
championship in baseball was in 2001. That was
but
2001
still.
was a great year for us. We won
Yeah, that was the same
baseball
year you
and
had one of the best teams ever
football.
in college football.
Yeah, but we've been on a down in a lot of sports. Shoot, I'll give anything right now to get a national championship, and I'll give anything right now to get one in basketball too, just to put us on the map.
Yeah, Miami's been bad in basketball for whatever reason, but y'all are on the upswing, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, we're definitely on the rise in baseball. We're doing pretty well right now. Basketball, we made the Elite Eight, so you
Yeah.
know if we could continue on that momentum, we'll be good. I mean, plus with the NIL deal thing going on, we got billionaire booster that's willing to, go above and beyond.
Hey, listen, basketball is, in my opinion, the toughest sport. College basketball, the toughest sport to win a national championship. All right. First, you have to get into the big dance, and how many games is it? Okay, so it's the first round, and the second round, Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final. You got to win 6 games to be the national champion.
Yep.
That is insane. So I would say, hands down, the toughest sport to win a national championship would be college basketball, simply because of the big dance itself. And you're literally guaranteed to play pretty good teams every single round. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're getting a bye week or you're getting to play some scrub team. No, these teams made the big dance. They're good teams.
All right. Well, we've been on this thing for almost an hour and a half now. I think it's about that time to wrap it up.
Goes by fast, man. We need to get this going again, man. I enjoy this.
So where can I find takes one? If I go to South Florida, um, if you go to South Florida, you'd have to check in the Miami area. I think there's a couple stores in Miami,
What
but
about online? Is
not
it
quite sure.
available online?
No, yeah, you can go online, and there's actually a map of all the stores that's in the South Florida area. So that's what I'll do if I were you. Just go online, check the areas. But they're working on putting the peanuts in more stores in Miami, Palm Beach, Broward. All you got to do is if you're listening, go to one of your corner stores. Let them know, hey man, start carrying these peanuts. Reach out to Taste One so they can put the peanuts in the stores. But if you're in Palm Beach, I know there's like 14 locations right now that you could go get the peanuts from. How do I know? I put them in there. I put them in those stores myself.
There you go, man.
So,
That's what I'm talking
oh
about.
man. But anyways, guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you ain't already. Make sure you subscribe. Go on over to Golden Blue Dude channel. If you need to find out how to get to him, his name is right there on the screen. Just type in Golden Blue Dude. You can't miss him. Subscribe to his channel. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's get this going again, man. I always have a fun time on your show.
Yeah, this was a good conversation. Right now we're going into the off season, so it's about to get
Yeah,
tough now. A lot of less news is gonna pop out unless something crazy happen.
that's true. You're right.
But
It's a grind, man.
thank
It's a
you for coming
grind.
on. Have a good day. Everybody in the chat, have a good night. Go Canes. That's it. All right, take it easy.
See y'all.